Good evening, all. And myself, Rahul, and I work as a UI developer. അല്ല, നമ്മുടെ എൻ്റെ മറ്റേ ലോഡ്. So in this session, we are going to discuss something about framework. I think most of them are familiar about frameworks, HTML, mainly HTML frameworks. I think most of you use these frameworks in your projects, the types of frameworks. Any idea about it?
So how many of you have used frameworks, HTML frameworks in your
Front-end
project?
frameworks. So we'll have a detailed discussion, in fact, the overview of frameworks. So what is a framework? That is the first thing that we have to know. What is a framework? Framework is actually a set of predefined codes, a predefined set of codes that we can use in building a site or building a application. So it is a set of standard concept and practice. It comes with a bundles of files and folder structure for laying out the user interface. That means it comes with HTML, JavaScript, CSS, everything. So basis of starting a building essay. So actually, what is the main aim of frameworks? What is the aim of framework? The main aim of framework is we don't need to reuse, or we don't need to code from the scratch. That means we don't need to start from the beginning, write each and every code for UI development. It is something, if you are not using a framework, it is something like reinventing a wheel. We have a set of in frameworks it is so many ready to use code that we can use in our projects. Without using it, it is simply like reinventing a wheel. So types of framework, in fact, this is categories of frameworks. So framework can be categorized mainly into front-end framework and back-end framework. Then what is a front-end framework and what is a back-end framework? Front-end framework is mainly deals with the front-end, that means the UI, user interface, and back-end is under the development. That means it comes in the development phase. So front-end framework comes with the UI layer, that comes in the UI layer. So it comes with HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and some of the examples of front-end frameworks are Bootstrap, Foundations. Yeah, we will come in detail about it, about the front-end frameworks. So it is bundled with HTML, CSS document, and CSS grids. That means the CSS source file for creating a grid. Grid is actually some horizontal or vertical section or a blocks that is used to align the contents in a website. So the typography, style definition for HTML, and the solution for cross-browser compatibility. Then comes selection of a framework. So it actually depends on the complexity of a project. So before that, we can discuss about the two types of frameworks, that is simple framework and a complete framework. Then what is a simple framework and a complete framework? So simple framework is simply a grid system. It comes with a CSS set of files that consists of only a grid system, nothing more than that. So with that simple grid system, we can create grids, we can create layouts for aligning the content in a web page. So some of the examples of simple grid system is 1140 CSS grid system, golden grid system, responsive grid system 960, etc., etc. There are lots and lots of CSS grid system available. And then comes the complete framework. Then what are the complete framework? How to distinguish a complete framework and a simple framework? Complete framework comes with everything. That means what all things that you need to develop a project, it comes with everything. That means the UI components, the widgets, the plugins, everything. So the two main complete framework that is widely used is Bootstrap and Foundation.
Are these frameworks free?
Yeah, this Bootstrap, and I think the Foundation is also free. Foundation, I think there is some life. Yeah. Huh?
So we just need to download it and start using it, and it will contain a set of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code that we can use it ready-made. and we will include, that is, we will continue with its CSS in our structure.
The base CSS will be used from Bootstrap. So these are the two these are the two main complete framework, that is Bootstrap and Foundation. Then what is a Bootstrap? We can learn the overview of Bootstrap, and it is an open source project from Mark Otto and Jacob Thornton. Both are the employees of Twitter, and it was released on 2011 August. Then more about Bootstrap. Bootstrap, as I said earlier, the complete framework comes with everything, right? So the Bootstrap is a complete framework. It consists of a style guide for HTML markup, style for menus, buttons, style for responsive designs, integrated JS libraries for UI elements, and set of icons that can be used, and the minified versions of CSS and JS. So why should we use a Bootstrap? So it comes with rich features that we can use everywhere. So in the case of a responsive design, we need to build a site responsive. By using this framework, it is easy to build responsive sites. So the browser support, almost all major browsers support Bootstrap. Then how does it work? For a minimal, that means for building a site, we just need to include the Bootstrap files. That means Bootstrap CSS, and scroll down, just scroll down. At the end, we need to include a Bootstrap JavaScript. Then comes some of the features of Bootstrap. It comes with Bootstrap component. That means the components like buttons, tabs, breadcrumbs, paginations, alerts, progress bar, etc. And some of the JavaScript features like tooltip, pop-ups and sliders, and customization for Bootstrap features, the CSS components, and the basic file structure of Boot.
So if we are using one framework, that is all those components we can use with the similar design or similar feature.
Yeah, we can
right?
also make alteration. We can also modify the design.
Yeah, normally when we need one component, we will download it from one site, and for another component menu, we will be downloading it from another site
The
with
plugins
different CSS. So this will reduce the amount of CSS requirement also, right?
So this is a basic file structure of a Bootstrap. It consists of a root folder called Bootstrap and the subdirectories CSS, JavaScript, and image. The specific files, that means the CSS files, is inside the subdirectories for CSS and JavaScript and image accordingly. Then comes Foundation. These are the two major complete framework, Bootstrap and Foundation. Then comes Foundation. Foundation is something similar to Bootstrap. It consists all the features. In fact, we can say all the features of Bootstrap, and Bootstrap is also going to all the features of Foundation. And it is the most advanced, responsive, and front-end framework. And some of the features of Bootstrap, I mean Foundation, is similar to Bootstrap. Here also we have a grid system, buttons, UI elements, the navigations and plugins. And then comes Foundation or Bootstrap. What to choose? It actually depends on the developer's end. The developer have to decide on what framework we have to use in a project. So presently we have the versions of Bootstrap, that is 3.2, and Foundation for 5.3. So Bootstrap, some of the major organizations using Bootstrap and Foundation, that is NASA, National Geographic Education Pixar Projection. These are some of the major organizations that is using these frameworks. So the grid system, both these frameworks.
That is when you are doing a project, that is, as a developer, how do you select Bootstrap or Foundation in a project?
In fact, Bootstrap and Foundation is almost similar, except in some functionality. Bootstrap is providing some functionality, and Foundation is some specific functionality.
So which one do you use personally?
Personally, I prefer Bootstrap. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. You prefer Foundation? Okay. Is there any
Actually, why Rahul chooses Bootstrap is Bootstrap gives compatibility up to IE8. IE8. and
It
I
also comes,
personally
yeah.
prefer foundation because uh, it's more of a what to say. It's more organized than um, Bootstrap. It provides me some built-in uh, command line options. It provides some command line options. Uh, yeah, and these stuffs. While one thing which needs to consider is even if it's Bootstrap, Foundation, Pure, anything, we must make sure the code is clean, perfect, and it's ready for us to use. That's the simple thing which we need to consider. And both Bootstrap and Bootstrap is from Twitter. Developers from Twitter made their stuff, and Foundation is from Sub Foundation, and both of them are really good in their own respects.
Thank you, Sharath.
Yeah, then comes the grid system. Both Foundation and Bootstrap comes with a good grid system for responsive designs. And as I said earlier, it's all there's a personal preference comes into play while choosing a framework. And then the sizing unit. The sizing unit, as Shiraz was explaining about the sizing unit in Bootstrap, the Bootstrap uses pixel for as a sizing unit, and whereas in the Foundation it uses rem. So some of the features and components of the Foundation. Um, this is a form validation form of Foundation, and it has a built-in form validation called abide. We just need to include that abide script just below the Foundation script, and just need to define this data attribute in the form as well as in this input element, the required pattern as well as the data abide data attribute. Next comes the interchange. This is something similar to adaptive design. Just switching the images in devices. That means we can define elements. That means the small, medium, and large. We can call images so that it gets interchanged when it comes to the specific devices. When it comes to small device, it will get the small device defined in this data interchange. That data is getting interchanged. So when it comes to the customization, Bootstrap gives everything that you want, and Foundation also provide a better environment for customization. The thing is that Bootstrap is providing a lots and lots of themes for customization, whereas in Foundation it is not that much available. So the final verdict, Bootstrap or Foundation? So what to say? The final verdict. Both are awesome. Both are awesome and amazing is their own right. So it is appropriate. It depends on the situation to choose Bootstrap or Foundation. We cannot compare. We cannot say that Bootstrap is better than Foundation or Foundation is better than Bootstrap. So how to choose a right framework? So it depends on the speed of installation and the easiness of understanding and the options they are providing. That means the easiness of understanding means we need to learn each and every code that is in the framework to build a website. So it depends. So next comes the advantage and disadvantages of frameworks. Advantages. So these are the advantages of using a framework. That means we can maintain a clean and tidy code. It speed up the process, and some of the common CSS program, browser compatibility. It's helpful for collaborative work. These are some of the advantages of using a framework. Then comes the disadvantage. Actually, this is some of the disadvantages of using a framework. It mixes the content and presentation. So, and lots of unused codes are left over since we are using that complete framework, right? Complete CSS, complete JavaScript. So, lots and lots of unused codes are left over unless we need to edit and we need to remove the unused code. And the learning curve is also, we need to study in deep. That means the foundation, the grid system. For example, in Bootstrap, the grid system is something like column, LG, 4, 5, 1 to 12. That is a grid system for large device. And when it comes to small device, we have to replace the LG with SM. When it comes to medium device, we have to replace that MD. That means with MD. Similar way in foundation, it is something like small hyphen 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 12, large hyphen 1, 2, 3 up to 12. So we have to learn the code they are using. So that comes to the end of this session about the frameworks, and yeah, thank you.
So that's all about frameworks.
This is just an overview of framework. We can discuss about the foundation and the complete framework in our later Coffee at DBG sessions. Yeah. Yeah, performance. I think both foundation and Bootstrap is performance oriented. It's all giving a good performance.
And also, when we use a framework, it will surely give better performance because the code is more organized.
Organized, yeah, exactly. So I would like to conclude this session, and yeah, Bootstrap. No.
Yeah.
Bootstrap.
It's a foundation. In foundation also we can use jQuery, but it's not dependent, I think. Yeah, it has jQuery in that. Bootstrap min.js has jQuery in it.
So next, I would like to invite Mr. Sumil to present the next section.